Hi, I'm Witch Mike, and welcome to the show. This is my first time doing video on YouTube, and I'm a big gamer, and I know a lot of gamers has put best of the game of the year for a long time, and for me, I found a way to catch up with everyone, so I decided to do the game of the years. So I'm starting on 1987 till 2020. Let's begin. And the first game of the year on 1987 is Super Mario Bros. NES. In this game, you play Mario or Luigi for second player. In this game plot, it's pretty similar to the damsel in distress, as Mario is the silver knight against the evil dragon, saving the princess. Where you go through multiple levels as land, sea, air, or even the sewers. Once you get to the castle, you're always ending up saving Toad, as he tells you that the princess is in another castle, as you're like, "Are you freaking kidding me?" But once you finally reach to the last level, and finally save the princess, is a big relief.
Thank you, Jesus!
And it's amazing how this game still stand up today, even through dozens of games as today, as is so memorable through the level, the design, especially the theme of this game is still hold up today. And the game of the year of '88 is Super Mario Bros. 2. Super Mario Bros. 2, you can play as 4 playable characters. You can play Mario, Luigi, the princess, or Toad. As a sequel, this game gives you a new taste of a whole different game. Consider sequels always feel like similar to the previous game, but as in Super Mario 2, it does not. And I love it how it's fun and memorable, and also the ending. For those who don't know, spoiler, Mario was sleeping the whole time. So as much I enjoy Mario games, this is one of these games is really up there. Is Ducktales. Woo! And the reason I picked this game, well, I love the cartoon show. It's amazing. That theme is still hold up today. It's so memorable. And when I heard about the game, I have to try it, and I loved it. It's great. It holds up to the TV show, and the game has that theme as we all love from our childhood. In this game, you play as Scrooge McDuck, as he competes against his rival Flintheart Gumgoat, as the whole point of the game is getting the most money, as they travel all over the world to get the most treasures, but not just the world, but also in space. Surprisingly, this game had a remake back in 2013. And I have not played it, but I know the game is good, and it had the most of the original voice actors from the cartoon series. And it's great that it showed that this game has so much love and joy over the years. So the game of the year of 1990 is, you guessed it, another Mario game, Super Mario World.
In Super Mario World, Mario and Luigi go on a vacation trip to Dinosaur Land. Yes, Dinosaur Land.
Dinosaur.
And once again, Princess Toadstool is captured by Bowser. After they go searching for her, they find a giant egg. And in that egg is a dinosaur named Yoshi. As Yoshi helps them on their quest to free the princess, but you also have to help Yoshi friends are stuck in the eggs for some reason, as you have to save them from the Kooplings. As always, in the Mario game, that you feel a whole new experience to play through a Mario World.
For this game, it is phenomenal. I couldn't believe how amazingly good as another Mario game that it somehow bring new levels, the graphics are great, and it introduce everyone new character in the Mario World game is Yoshi. And the game of the year of '91 is Street Fighter 2, the arcade.
In Street Fighter 2, you play 8 characters. As you pick any fighter, yes, you have to compete through nearly everyone to get to the end. To get to the end of fighting M. Bison himself. As Bison's whole purpose is to take over the world.
Of course!
Compare this game from the previous, this game is a huge improvement. As Street Fighter 1 is a average or below average game, as Street Fighter 2 surpassed the last as to be the biggest and the best fighting game, as Street Fighter 2 made fighting game genre a huge impact in the video game world.
To play this on the arcade, you have to learn to use the joystick and 6 buttons to pull up a special move for the very first time. It was great. It actually made you feel accomplished something. And to play 8 memorable characters, especially Chun-Li, I believe she's like the very first female fighter ever, I think. But as all, my favorite is Ryu, or Ryu, wherever you want to prefer to call him. But as a whole, as the game, as memorable stages, and that every character has their own theme, it was great. The game of the year in '92 is Mortal Kombat.
As Midway saw the potential in fighting games thanks to Street Fighter, they developed their own game. As more action, more violent, and more impact into the fighting genre, as the game introduced fatalities, as you can finish off your opponent. Mortal Kombat became one of the few games that started the game rating system. In the story, you play Earthrealm champions, as you have to fend off Outworld, as Shang Tsung, who is one of Shao Kahn's minions, whose whole purpose is to win the tournament. If they win, they will take over Earth. As the game is different compared to Street Fighter, as with digital graphics, with live action people and digitized graphics. Compare this game to Street Fighter, it may be one of the top competitive with Street Fighter today.
After Street Fighter 2 was a big success, nobody ever thought a new challenger will compete with Street Fighter is Mortal Kombat. Mortal Kombat was a more aggressive, more insane moves, and also introduced fatalities. And it was amazing. You never thought a fighting game to go that far as a mile to beat Street Fighter 2 that was insane big, and Mortal Kombat just come in and annihilate Street Fighter. As today, it's still a head-to-head of what is the champion of fighting games. And the game of the year of '93 is Doom.
On Doom, the whole point of this game is just to shoot 'em up demons. This became a huge impact as a shooting genre, as you play Doom Guy, a man with no name, but that is everyone called. As you go through 2 moons of Mars bases as they are overrun by demons. As you investigate a discovery of the UAC, a corporation doing a technology of teleportation by accidentally opening the gates of hell. As Doom Guy's job is being security guy, he had to clean up their mess. As you take waves of demons, as you get bizarre weapons, from shotgun to chainsaw, you take on anything comes in your way. As a kid, I didn't care about the plot. I only care about shooting them up. As Doom is known for the first few shooting games, and also considering the theme, Doom was an outstanding game. Doom could be an exciting game and also a very horror game.
As you try to get through the secret base on Mars, that you try to figure out what is going on. But the thing is, I don't think most of us really care about it, because it's all about it's so fun just to shoot demons. Doom was a fun roller coaster ride of a game. Game of the year of '94 is Wing Commander 3.
Wing Commander 3 became one of my first experience of full motion video games. This game has tons of familiar actors. As you play Blair, played by Mark Hamill, as a war hero, as you take on the Kirathi Empire, as you face the enemy with your wingman, as you can take on fighters or even capital ships, as you fight in fighter crafts, bombers, even a top secret fighter craft, Excalibur, is known for a heavy fighter. This game, not only you play only in space, but also in cutscenes, as you can choose which dialogue you want. You could be aggressive or be passionate. Also, every choice you make, there is a big outcome, so you have to be careful what you pick, because the decision you will make will affect the outcome in the end. In this game, you also can choose love interests. Even so, you can even pick your own wingmate. Every wingmate have their own backstory. As this video game, it's amazing how they did it with live action cutscenes and the space similar also.
And actually, this game has a big budget, as you actually feel like you're playing a movie where you know numerous actors, and the special effects, and especially at the time as a video game, it's groundbreaking. It's truly amazing as you looking back at the time, as video games started to become more popular. And the reason this game is great is, as I said, it's feel like you actually playing a movie but playing a game in the same time. It's great. Especially I love sci-fi. So as my first love of full motion video game, this is where it started. In Wing Commander 3. And the game of 95 is Mortal Kombat 3 Ultimate.
Ultimate Mortal Kombat 3 is additional from the previous, as it is more updated, more stages and more characters. Mortal Kombat, known for the Easter eggs, it has everyone favorite, Toasty Guy. The game also featuring running mechanic, as you don't have to keep jumping against your opponent, but you can run to do quick combos attack. As Mortal Kombat fatalities are known for gory, this one is more for hilarious.
As always, you fight a tournament, or sort of, as Shao Kahn, who is in Fated Earth Realm, violating the rules, who decide to take over, and your whole point is to stop him, whatever the cost. As this game has bizarre fatalities, as you do one, and some reason you blow up somebody, and some reason there's like tons of limbs from this one person, and it just is just so silly how they did it. As a Mortal Kombat fan, I really appreciate it as today, as I'm sure not most people put on their list for this one, but for me it's up there. It's really great. I loved it. And the game of the year of 96 is Resident Evil.
Resident Evil, a game that introduced the horror genre. In this game, you can play as Chris or Jill as a Special Forces STAR team, as a team investigating a mystery in Raccoon's forest, as you encounter monsters that chase you into a mansion that is not what it seems to be. As you investigate the mansion, you find the first undead zombie, as Chris or Jill have their own special trait, as Jill has more infantry, as Chris can take more damage and carry more firepower. As you fight way through numerous monsters, from zombies, sharks, spiders, and hunters, as you discover more of what is Umbrella, a corporation that is creating a BOWs. As you search every dark corner of the mansion, there will always be something lurking from the shadow. As also you have to fight any supplies you have. In order to beat this game, you have to overcome your fear in order to survive. Also, this game have numerous endings.
Resident Evil, as I said before, I love full motion video game, and this game is kind of is. But as the opening, it's memorable. It's so memorable to this day, especially the back acting, the how cheesy as a B movie is. But it's great, as this game became a first in a new way of playing video games first time, especially a horror game. You want more of this game. You want more of that experience, and it was great. And the game of the year of 97 is GoldenEye. And as a GoldenEye, this is pretty much the rare best games. Pretty much up there. But as a game based from a James Bond film, it's great. It's like you actually feel like James Bond. You have the the gadgets, especially the watch used throughout the game, and then the guns. As a first-person shooting game, it's great. It's like, sure, the graphics is not amazing, especially look at now, but as playing as a iconic movie film character, it was great. It's everything you wanted as a James Bond game, actually.
As like the movie, the plot is the same. In the game, you have numerous of weapons, and even, as everyone's favorite, spy gadgets. As the game actually make you feel like James Bond, as you fight through numerous enemies, stealth, or even explosion. As great as a shooting game, it is also one of the few games I play in multiplayer, as you compete with 3 other people in a death match. You can play any character from the film, including from the previous films, as you can play any of the previous James Bond villains. As a licensed game, it is one of probably the best I have played. But sadly, over time, licensed games has become more and more bad games. But as GoldenEye is one of the few, perhaps the best, licensed moving game ever.
It's a great James Bond game, especially a licensed game too. It's so amazing. As a Bond film, as a kid, I loved it.
Colonel, long time no see.
Snake, today's briefing is of the utmost importance.
What is it, Colonel?
I'll be telling you all about the Ford Focus SE.
A Ford?
Yes, Snake, you should know the Ford Focus SE comes with a standard rear-view camera. Plus, it has an EPA estimated 36 highway miles per gallon.
EPA estimated 36 highway miles per gallon? That's remarkable.
Yes, Snake, the Focus SE is the perfect vehicle for driving around Shadow Moses Island.
Colonel, let me stop you. I'm gonna Fulton extract myself a Ford Focus SE right now.
But Snake, that technology hasn't been used since 1984. Snake! Snake! Snake!
And the game of the year of 98 is Metal Gear Solid. And my god, this game is amazing. Espionage game as you sneak around and spying on the enemy and you sneak up on them, and then of course if you get caught or they spotted you, they send a wave of enemies against you. You can take them out if you want, but you're just wasting your time and they keep respawning over and over. So the whole point of the game is about sneaking around, but it was great.
Metal Gear Solid. In this game you play Solid Snake. In this game you only rely on stealth. You may shoot your way out, but in the end, they will gun you down. As you face a special elite force, you play against memorable bosses from Foxhound. As a shooting game, it was amazing, as you discover a secret weapon called Metal Gear. As this game has excellent voice cast in cutscenes and story plot. As a kid, I never was really into plot into video games, but this game is one of the few. In this game, you have a codex, as you need advisor from anyone. As young as I was playing this game, I never knew about the previous games until years later. But I think this is a game became a big impact to anyone who played for the first time.
For Metal Gear Solid, it's a fantastic game. Surprisingly, Konami best games. Surprisingly back then, until you look at it now, it's just so sad. what happened to Metal Gear Solid now.
Alignment confirmed. Stand by, release control.
All caliper banks released.
The mothership has cleared the scaffold. We are away.
Game of the year of '99 is Homeworld. And those for you who don't know Homeworld, well, Homeworld is a PC game and also a sci-fi strategy game also.
Homeworld. In this plot, you play the Kyoshi as they discover a spaceship buried in the sands, where they found a star map leading to their home world, and also using its hyperdrive technology to get there. A hyperdrive that they can teleport anywhere as you encounter different species as they become friendly or hostile, as you learn new technology, as also you can salvage the enemy ships and make it as one of your own. As a game as I always wanted to command a fleet, this is a game that started for me. At the time, the graphic was great, the feel of the experience of this sci-fi, it was amazing. And I'm so glad this game had a remaster.
So Homeworld, it's a fantastic game, and I'm so glad this game got remastered too. So those that haven't played, I highly recommend play the remaster. Game of the year of 2000 is Perfect Dark. And Perfect Dark is another shooting game based from Rare, from GoldenEye, is amazing. It's just so good. And surprisingly, this is a game standalone game. It's not really based on anything. It's just a kind of a clone shooting GoldenEye game, sort of.
In Perfect Dark, you play as Joanna Dark, a secret agent, a organization that helps a alien race called the Mayans, as known as the Grey Nettlemen, as you fight up the Scalar, another alien race. As this game is very similar to GoldenEye, it is great at its own. It may seem like a copycat, but to be honest, it's not. And this game is enjoyable with the shooting, the story, especially you play in the future, but also a sci-fi. For me, Perfect Dark was an enjoyable shooting game. As much as I like GoldenEye, Perfect Dark is one of them.
But as a shooting game, it was great. It's the same as always GoldenEye. The explosion, the shooting, and the co-op and the multiplayer. It's fun as always. But the story it was pretty good. Game of the year of 2001 is Final Fantasy X. And the reason I picked this game, it could compare of all the games, especially 7. I picked this game because I actually played Final Fantasy 3, I believe, or 6. Well, 3 in the US. There's some odd thing was Japanese Final Fantasy and American version for some reason. But anyway, Final Fantasy 8 X or 10 I really enjoyed this game because as an RPG, it wasn't really my thing back then. You know, those games you have to level up and you had to, you know, read dialogue and so on. But this one, it's the story I really enjoy a lot.
In this game you play as Titus, or any name you can give it to him. As Titus is a all-star blitz player, as his city been under attack by a giant monster called Sin. Before Sin destroyed the city, Titus been saved by Orin. And that is where his story begins. As we travel through Spira, as you meet up with Yuna, as her goal is to destroy Sin. As you had to go through multiple temples to get monsters to help you in the fight against Sin. As you continue the story, that you find a grim, terrible fate awaits for Yuna. The voice acting may be bad, but over time, I was not too annoyed with it. Surprisingly, most Final Fantasy games has more than 4 characters, but Final Fantasy X, you have way more characters to play with, as everyone have their own skills. And this is the first game I became a fan of the Final Fantasy franchise.
So Final Fantasy X, it's great. I enjoy the characters, the music, the graphics, especially first Final Fantasy game as you look before it as to Pixar and you see the Final Fantasy 7 and 8 and 9, you see how their, you know, the graphic is, and 10 is like a big, you know, like evolution for Final Fantasy. It's a great game.
Valor. Duty. Leadership. Sacrifice. Can one man truly make a difference?
The game of the year of 2002 is Medal of Honor Ally Assault. And this is as a war video game until back then, as World War II games are pretty rare back then compared to now. It's very common. As you get to the beach and then you like completely heavy fire, and it's, you know, similar, but especially back then as you say this game and then compared to Saving Private Ryan, as you know how insane the, you know, invasion is. Sure, it's not great, the graphic, looking at it now, but it was great. It's going for that first time, you know, it's going for the experience.
In this game, you play as Lieutenant Mike Powell, a U.S. Army Ranger, as his missions throughout Europe to take on missions to stop the power of the Axis. You also command units, but it's mostly a lone wolf game. The game also recreates the Battle of D-Day, as it did a great job of something you see in Saving Private Ryan and then actually play it. Not only you can play in single player, but you can also play in multiplayer also, that I really enjoyed at the time. The game is good, and mostly the music as well. For Medal of Honor, it's funny to look back then how good it is, and sadly how the franchise has stopped. But for me to replay it, I have really enjoyed it.
For a Medal of Honor game, as you know, compared to Call of Duty, either one of those, I was a big fan of Medal of Honor, and I think this is the best Medal of Honor game ever. And the game of the year of 2003 is Star Wars, The Knights of the Old Republic. And surprisingly, this is another RPG, but a Star Wars RPG. And it's great to having a Star Wars game mixed with RPG. It works surprisingly well.
You can either play male or female, even, light or dark, or other as Jedi or Sith, as you can choose your own path throughout the plot. But in the story, you wake up being under attack, as you meet up with Karth, who are stranded on the planet, as you try to find a Jedi named Bastia. Together you have discovered a star map, as Malik as the main villain, a Sith Lord who's planning to overthrow the Old Republic, as you meet up other characters to help you on this quest, as you explore the Star Wars universe. As the first Star Wars RPG game is surprisingly good.
And especially in this, the story is amazingly a great twist that cannot be revealed or say or anything. Of course, you have to play it to find out the twist of the game.
Rise and shine, Mr. Freeman. Rise and shine. Not that I wish to imply you have been sleeping on the job. No one is more deserving of a rest, and all the effort in the world would have gone to waste until... well, let's just say your hour has come again. So wake up, Mr. Freeman. Wake up and smell the ashes.
Game of the year of 2004 is Half-Life 2.
In this game, you play as Gordon Freeman, who's doing a assignment for the G-Man, who sent you into the future, back on Earth, as the Combine took over the planet. As you meet up old friends from the previous game, as you try to liberate the planet from the power and struggle of the Combine, as you take on Dr. Wallace, who is the leader of the Combine. As a first time player, it is a big revolution game. As you use multiple weapons, but as the best of them all is the gravity gun. The story is great, the gameplay is fun as hell, but as the ending is intriguing as where does the story end. Even so, we have the episode 1 and 2, but for Half-Life 3, I'm curious how Half-Life will end. But for Half-Life 2, you can always replay it as we continue to wait for the sequel.
And Half-Life 2, I was really pleased in how good it is. It's better than the first. But for Half-Life 2, it's great. It's kind of sad that hopefully this is not the end of how things go from Half-Life episodes, how those went, as we're still waiting for this game. But as always, it's always fun to play this game again and again. For Half-Life 2, as playing Gordon Freeman as a scientist to being a badass, it's amazing.
Chainsaw. Shit. Son of a...
Oh, la campana.
Es hora de rezar. Tenemos que irnos.
Lord Sattler.
Where's everyone going? Bingo?
Game of the year of 2005 is Resident Evil 4. And Resident Evil 4 is shockingly amazing, but at the time, as I got this game for the GameCube, surprisingly, not too many people played it. But yet this game got so much praise for people who have the GameCube. The GameCube wasn't like a good console at the time, but for me as a Nintendo fan I'm so glad I got the GameCube for Resident Evil 4. It was great. As a new experience way to play Resident Evil games. As a previous game, you play like a tank control game of the character. In this one, you play as free to aim, shoot at wherever you want. Especially you have the taser on the gun, you know where you're aiming at. It's just great.
In this game, you play as Leon S. Kennedy on his mission to rescue the president's daughter, Ashley. You travel to Spain as you uncover a village infected, or perhaps infected by some parasite, to see Leon to be back from the previous Resident Evil 2 first appearance as he was a raccoon police officer, as he become a government agent. As he's searching for Ashley, he's discovered that one of a scientist from Umbrella, as he infected the locals to control them, as he's planning to control the world. As the previous Resident Evil games known for the shooting tank controls, this is the first game where you can actually shoot any direction you want. This game has tons of action, horror, and also quick time events. For me as a Resident Evil fan, this is a huge improvement to the series. The story is great, and the quick time event is a new experience to play. For me, I consider Resident Evil 4 perhaps the best Resident Evil game ever.
So Resident Evil 4, for my opinion, is considered the best Resident Evil games ever. And I'm so glad this game came out not just on GameCube, but for PlayStation, and there's a remake or remaster, and now there's a remake coming out. Hopefully that's good. Only time will tell. Game of the year of 2006 is Gears of War. And Gears of War, as surprisingly only for Xbox, it's amazing shooting game.
In this game, you play as Phoenix. As Phoenix and the others had to fight off the Locust General Rom. As a shooting game, it's great. Especially as hardcore as it really is.
It's a fun shooting, kind of a hard, but mostly action-packed game. And it's also have a fun multiplayer game, but I mostly enjoy the story and the mystery of what is going on.
I am Andrew Ryan, and I'm here to ask you a question. Is a man not entitled to the sweat of his brow? No, says the man in Washington, it belongs to the poor. No, says the man in the Vatican, it belongs to God. No, says the man in Moscow, it belongs to everyone. I rejected those answers. Instead, I chose something different. I chose the impossible. I chose rapture. Sitting with the artist would not fear the censor, where the scientist would not be bound by petty morality, where the great would not be constrained by the small. And with the sweat of your brow, Rapture can become your city as well.
Game of the Year of 2007 is Bioshock. And Bioshock is a fantastic game as a creepy, dark, under the sea, what the hell is going on?
In this game, you play as Jack. Flying over the Atlantic Ocean, he somehow survived a plane crash as he meet up at a lighthouse that leads you to a city under the sea. There's a twist as you never expect it at the beginning. For me, for the first time playing it was amazing. As the game full of surprising action and even horror in it, it was a fun experience to play.
And then you come across Atlas somehow conveniently. You meet on the radio, and he's explaining you what's going on, and he's trying to get out. And then you need atoms, that these little girls who collect atoms from dead people, but they're being protected by the big daddies. And big daddies are pretty much the last ones you want to mess with, but you have no choice to fight the big daddies. But Bioshock is a fantastic shooting game. I would gladly go back under the sea for this game again.
War is where the young and stupid are tricked by the old and bitter into killing each other. I was very young and very angry. Maybe that is no excuse. Roman? Roman! Are you sleeping, you fat fuck? Come on!
What's the time? Shit, I've got to get the cab back. It's on the shift. Nico! Jeez. I've got to run. Come meet me at the cab office. It's easy. Out the door, turn left, then the first left at the diner, go down one block and turn right on Iroquois. Then walk all the way down and we're right there on the left on the corner of Cisco Street. It's really flash. We got lots of titties and some incredible molders. Nico, give me a hug. Good to have you here, cousin. I've got something for you. Oh, damn. Damn. Okay.
Game of the Year of 2008 is Grand Theft Auto 4.
This one, you play as Niko Bellic, an Eastern European who come to visit America, but not to pursue the American dream, but also in search of someone who's on a mission for revenge. Niko can be a serious guy, but also funny sometimes.
Juicing makes me a little pent up.
Juicing?
Yeah. Bull shark testosterone, amigo. Ordered online from Chile. Makes you feel really well.
Hey, be careful, man. I heard that stuff does funny things to your balls.
Hey, do I look like I got funny balls to you?
I haven't considered it.
As any Grand Theft Auto game, as you can do whatever you want. It's fun. It's great to explore the city. Having fun making chaos as any Grand Theft Auto game. For me, this is my favorite and perhaps the best Grand Theft Auto game. And also the story I consider to be the best.
But as a story as a whole, I really enjoy it. It's fun. Do whatever you want. And the multiplayer over time, it gotten good. I really enjoyed this game a lot.
Chase this, you zombie bastards!
Hey!
This bitch is chasing me!
The game of the year of 2009 is Left 4 Dead 2. Left 4 Dead 2 is a great zombie, shoot 'em up, got to survive any way possible.
In Left 4 Dead 2, you play as either Ellis, Rochelle, Nick, or everyone's favorite, Coach. As you struggle through Georgia, as you have to fight numerous zombies, even the specialized or the more mutated zombies. As this game tests people as either play as a team or is for every man for himself. This game is great to play with friends, but also random people, as they always mess with you all the time. As any zombie game is fun as always. Left 4 Dead 2 is still a great game as today.
For this game, it's a shame that this game never had a sequel, but as it doesn't matter how long we had to wait, this game is still can enjoy for all times. Year of 2010 is Red Dead Redemption, and this is a fantastic Wild West Grand Theft Auto style game ever.
In the story, you play as John, as his family been kidnapped by the government. Mission is to hunt down his former gang, and also to find his gang leader, Bill. To explore the Wild West, it is an amazing experience. Horseback riding, as you become a bounty hunter, a gambler, and the best part of the game is the Deadeye mechanic, as you do a quick draw with any opponent. For a Wild West video game, I would say this is the best. The story is great, as I enjoy playing as John. You go through his story to the end.
In the end, is my favorite also, of not what you expected, but you really appreciate how the game ended. And so satisfying, so satisfying as the last person you take out.
I feel I should thank you. Capturing Bruce Wayne is so much easier than Batman. And now that we have you, Protocol 10 is ready to begin. It will be my legacy, a monument to your failure. And if you try to stop me, I guarantee everyone will know your secret.
Game of the Year of 2011 is Batman Arkham City. As a Batman fan, this is a fantastic Batman game ever. As a Batman fan, as I play the Arkham Asylum, Arkham Asylum is actually a really good game. Only problem is pretty much the ending of it, of Joker being a big baddie monster or Bane.
In this game, you play as Batman, as he discovering Arkham City, a giant prison run by Doctor Strange, as he knows Batman's true identity. But not as only you deal with Joker, as you deal with Batman Rogue Gallery. For me, the game is amazing, especially the boss battle. And as my favorite is Mr. Freeze, as you had to find ways to sneak up on him, but every time you do it, he will find a way to prevent to use the same strategy. But in this game, you also play as Catwoman. Sadly, Catwoman to play as is very short, and there's not really much to her story in the game. But as playing as Catwoman in the fight is fun, and also for stealth. As in my opinion, I think this is where this should have been the last Arkham game. Of all the Batman games, I believe this is the best.
As always, it has my favorite voice actor, especially from the Batman anime series. As Mark Hamill being Joker, it's amazing, as always. But as a Batman game, it is a fantastic game.
In light of the recent extraterrestrial incursion, this Council of Nations has convened to approve the activation of the XCOM project. You have been chosen to lead this initiative, to oversee our first and last line of defense. Your efforts will have considerable influence on this planet's future. We urge you to keep that in mind as you proceed. Good luck, Commander.
And the game of the year of 2012 is XCOM. And I have to thank Angry Joe for this one, because for XCOM I barely knew anything about it. But after I watched his review of the game, I had to try it, and I really surprisingly enjoyed it.
As this game is a reboot from the previous game, it has the same premise as you deal with any invasion, as you are the commander, as you send out a group of team, as you take out any invaders, as you have your own base, as you have a specialized team, as you have the scientists, engineers, and central command, as you gather fund from the council, as you encounter more enemies, you will meet new types, as you need to research weapons and build, as you can also interrogate the invaders.
So over time you had to pay, you had to make sacrifice which country to not to help, and if you don't help that country much, they will go exile or leave the defund the XCOM, and the more country abandon you, the more closer you losing the game. Because if you lose the game, you gotta start over again. So as XCOM is great, as you build your team, you build the skill, and you gotta find ways to flank the enemies. You know, make sure the enemy doesn't like as always, the enemy is always aggressive, and they don't mind throwing their soldier at you. So you gotta be careful what the game throws at you. So as always, XCOM is a great reboot game compared to the original. I have not played it yet. And for the DLC, it's also great too, as they put new specialized troops, like as you can have one of your soldier as a sort of a cyborg, that you can give him the best stuff and make him like a walking tank. It's amazing. I really enjoy the DLC for this game. the game of the year of 2013 is Last of Us.
In the story, you play as Joel. As in the beginning, you experience the outbreak as the world has fallen apart, and as you see the remaining survivors of a plague as it infected plants, spreading a virus that turning people into somewhat zombie plants. As Joel encountered Ellie, as Ellie seemed as important to the Fireflies, Joel had to cross the country to the Fireflies HQ. This game may seem like a zombie game, in somewhat. The game is fun as you salvage parts to make weapons or gears, as the game is known for its outstanding graphics and story, but the game is more memorable of the characters, as the bond of Joel and Ellie has. This game may probably be Naughty Dog's best game ever.
For Last of Us is a great game, but surprisingly I heard there's a rumor that this game going to be reboot or remaster something, except we already have a remaster of this game, so it's like a reboot of a different tale of the story. So it's just so weird, especially gone through Last of Us 2. But as always, I'm glad this game will never be, it doesn't matter the next game going to be, this game will always be great, no matter what. And the game of the year of 2014 is Alien Isolation. And as an Alien fan, I couldn't believe how great this game, as an Alien fan, is like, it has everything from the movies. It has the creepy atmosphere, it has the fear of the xenomorph, how he's sneaking around and you can't fight it, but you can't kill it, so he always stalking on you. You gotta save your supplies in case you're in the corner, but if he grabs you, that's it. It's game over. Not compared to the other Alien games, as you take damage, but in this one, you do take damage, but if the alien grabs you, it's over. There's no way, there's no escape.
In the game, you play as Amanda Ripley, daughter of Ellen Ripley from the films, as Amanda trying to discover what happened to her mother, as she'd been missing for years from after the first film. As she gets to the station, it is in complete chaos. As you explore what happened, you encounter a deadly alien. Not only Amanda had to deal with the alien, also she had to deal with androids called Joes, or the survivor of the station, who are trying to survive. Throughout the game, you hear the alien lurking around as your only device to spot the alien, as you have a tracking device. As Amanda trying to contact her ship, find a way to get rid of the alien. As the game based on the film, it does an amazing job, as has the environment, the look, and the feel, same as the film we all love.
Sadly, this game is so underrated that surprisingly now people praise it more, and more people find out about this game as the day it came out, as it should have been like the game of the year for most people. But I'm really appreciate now that people recognize that this is a fantastic game, and we're all wanting for the Alien Isolation 2 game. But sadly, we have the mobile game, and I don't know, it's supposed to be a tie-in with a sequel, maybe, but only, from, Sega or somebody else decide to make a sequel. Well, maybe one day we finally get what we want. But for any isolation, it's a great movie game.
Been through hell and high water, you and me. Fact is, you know me better than anyone else does. Actually, I wouldn't be here if it wasn't for you. Thanks for everything. And know we all miss you, old friend. So, might be my birthday, but I say, here's to you. Now, tell us how you're doing.
For the game of 2015 is Witcher 3, A Wild Hunt. And this is another game I gotta thank for Angry Joe for, because as a Witcher series I not really know about, except there's 1 and 2 I barely know about. But as I found out from 3 that as I enjoy RPG and fantasy game, this is a great game.
You play as Gareth, a witcher who is on the hunt, who is searching for Ciri, a girl who has the elder blood. She is being chased by others for her power. But not only you go searching, as you help people to deal with a monster problem, as a Witcher does. For someone like me who never played Witcher before, it is a great game that you don't really need to play the previous to know of this world. I really enjoy about this game is the Gwent card game that is so addictive to play. For anyone who enjoys card games, this is a game that you will really going to enjoy. As also you have to make choices that has a big impact in the end. For this game, I became a big Witcher fan.
And after beating this game, I really wanted to play the first and second game. Especially, sadly you can only play in the PC, but that's not a problem for most of us. But maybe one day I would play those, and hopefully they're good as the third one. But as a Witcher series, I had to say it's a good way how the game ended. The game of the year of 2016 is Doom, the reboot, or Doom 2016.
As a reboot of this classic game, it is fantastic. As the story seems similar to the first, but in this one you play as Doom Slayer, as he wake up in the lab, as the lab is full of demons. But as you've been wakened by Dr. Hayden, who needs your help to get rid of the demons, as Doomslayer fight his way through the base, but also in hell. Doomslayer is different from Doomsky. You're more aggressive, have an interesting backstory or mystery of who he is. To bring back this franchise back from the grave is great. As always, yes, you can play for the action or for the challenge, and damn, it is challenging. To see Doom back is great. Now I hope more games from the good old days that we will have more reboots like this.
As this series came back and now there's a sequel, it's a show of how the old games are still loved today, and you give it to the right people, we can love them as we remember back then. As Doom 2016 is a great comeback.
Thank you.
And the game of the year of 2017 is Cupheads.
In this game, you play the Cupheads as they play at the Devil Casino. As they're winning and gambling, the devil himself made a bet. If they win, they will get all the money. But if they lose, the devil will get their souls. But then the Cuphead lose the bet, as the devil make another deal with them, as he sent them to collect as those ran away, dealing with the devil. If they do it, he will spare them. As for the whole game, it's about defeating bosses and getting the contract. As this game is a reference to Contra in many ways, from challenging, from many deaths, and different type of bosses. As this game plays is style of an old cartoon, especially for the 30s and the 40s, it has that style. The game is fun and challenging as you die many times.
Yeah. Oh my god. Oh my god, the fucking jelly bean! Oh my god! I'm so tired of them, man! Oh!
As the game has graphics as animation style, the music is great. I hope one day this game will have a sequel.
They really put a lot of passion in this game, and I hope one day that there's more game developers, with not much budget, but has a passion to make great games, and they do it like all the right reason, not like AAA games today. It's all about money. They stop making great games or bring something new. It's all about making how much money from making less contact in the game. It's sad today, but Cupheads, it gives me faith of, video games can be great. You just give it to the right people and they will deliver what we all want, a good game.
Oh, there do they call to me. Oh, there do they call to me. Oh, there do they call to me. She's ready.
Find your way home. You are free.
And the game of the year of 2018 is God of War. And as another game franchise that came back is God of War from the previous PlayStation games. As I had to say, I didn't play much of God of Wars over time. As I played the remaster of the trilogy, I really enjoy it.
As the game is seen to be a sequel or a reboot, it is great. As it takes place as Kratos defeats the Olympian gods, he's end up somehow in the realm of Midgard, as in the land of the Viking gods. As Kratos buried his wife with his son, they on a journey to spread her ashes in her wish. As the Viking gods see Kratos as a threat as they try to kill him. But it's very interesting to explore the Midgard realm. It's a new experience and adventure. For the sequel for this game, I hope it has a good ending for Kratos. But as a God of War fan, I really enjoy it, the challenging and the gameplay experience.
And for the next God of War game, I hope it's really good. I'm very curious how it's going to end. And hopefully we get to meet Thor and Odin in this one too. But in this, it's still a good game.
Shang Tsung's island.
Here we go again.
And the game of 2019 is Mortal Kombat 11.
As the story takes place after Shinnok defeat, as Raiden become corrupted, as Raiden sent all his power and forces against the remaining forces of Shinnok, as a new goddess or titan called Kronika, as her whole goal is to reboot history, as Kronika bring back old enemies and heroes from the past, as the heroes try to discover what is happening. In the story, it has a great twist. For me as a fan, it is great. Surprisingly, this game is great from a big update from Mortal Kombat 10. As the graphic in that one is pretty good, but it has some problems. But in Mortal Kombat 11, the graphic is outstanding. As bringing back our favorite fighters and seeing them go this one last time before the new era. Until then, we can always revisit the past and await for the future.
As a Mortal Kombat fan, I think this is the best one. The story is great, the graphics, the how people look in this game, especially Casey and Jackie from the last one. They didn't look that good, but in this one they look so much better. But till then, I won't mind still playing this game to still this day.
Finally reach the end. I am nearly complete, but must praise one last game.
The game of the year of 2020 is Ghost of Tsushima.
As you play Jin Sakai as the last survivor of the Mongol invasion of the samurai. Jin's mission is to save his uncle, a daimyo. Jin meet up with his old allies to save his uncle and to retake the island. In this game, not only as you play as a samurai, but over time you will play as a ninja. Surprisingly, for any game as being a samurai, you never play as both ways, as you can challenge the enemy as a samurai, or you could be like a ninja as you stealth kill. As the game is great for its graphics, its sword fighting, and the feel of being a samurai. And it's fun as always, as you can custom your armor as a samurai or as a ninja. The game has excellent voice casting from English and also Japanese as well. As someone that's always loved the Japanese culture, this game has everything about it. A few games I have played as samurai, this is the best. I hope there'll be a sequel for this game. If they do, I'd be intrigued what would happen to Jin in knowing the tale of the Ghost of Tsushima.
I really hope and looking forward to the sequel for this game. Maybe one day they will. So Ghost of Tsushima, fantastic game. That's it for this video. I hope you enjoyed the game of the years. I'm glad I catch up with everyone. I really hope you enjoyed this video, and do hit the like button. And if you want to see more of my videos soon, remember to hit the subscribe button. Until then, adios.